It's the routine. We're sitting there like Gary in our ear as a Commanders fan. He can't wait till they can go back to last year, go back to normal. Jayden Daniels, all these different people.
I
Everyone
think
wants
they
the
have gone
routine
back
to
to
come
normal.
back, see the same faces. Yeah. Don't do that to Washington. There's a new page now.
Well, but, it underscores something that I've been saying as it relates to J.J. McCarthy, who we've barely seen play 1.5 seasons into his career. And we had this concern last year about Jayden Daniels. He's not real thick, and he's extremely brave. And there's a fine line between courage and, frankly, stupidity. Not that he's stupid, not that he's playing stupid, but you got to be smart. You got to not get hit. He's fearless, and he takes those hits, and he keeps going, even when his body is saying, hey, Jayden, you're not going to keep going. We saw it against the Packers in week 2, had that MCL injury. They never said which ligament it was, but it sure felt like it was MCL based upon the amount of time he missed. But he got that hip drop tackle that wasn't technically, but it looked like it. Kept going. Hamstring. Wanted to come back to the game against the Cowboys, week 7. I admire the hell out of the guy. He's a great player, but the problem is you're on the wrong edge of being available. And J.J. McCarthy is all the way on the wrong edge of being available. And you see what happens when you have a potentially great franchise quarterback and he's not available. You got to flip back to Marcus Mariota. And I'm impressed the guy's still in the NFL. 11 years into his career. He's the last guy that beat the Chiefs in a playoff game that wasn't the AFC Championship. The year that Patrick Mahomes was monitoring from the sideline.
Yeah.
Mariota goes in as a Titans quarterback, throws a touchdown pass to himself. Last game of the Alex Smith era. So, but there's a difference, a fundamental difference, a major difference between Jayden Daniels and Marcus Mariota. And, we're starting to see your guy Drake May maybe become the best of that bunch from 2024 because he's playing. He's playing. I think Jayden Daniels' overall skill set better, but he's not playing. And he's got 2 injuries now this year. He's missed 3 games. And I think that's one of the big reasons the Commanders aren't what they were last year. They don't have their best quarterback available who's in the position to become one of the best in the league.
I agree with you, and I think we saw firsthand last night, and I mean, a credit to the Commanders coaching staff because that first half was based on them coming out, watching film, and saying, hey, we got a game plan early in this game the way we want to play, and they kind of threw a lot at Kansas City. It was the zone reads, it was the design quarterback runs, then it was coming off the play action, and it was a quick passing game. They kind of put a little bit of everything in that, and then you kind of play complementary football and you add the Luke McCaffrey, his return game and what he was able to do. Then Lattimore getting the interception and, all those different things that happened. I think for the Commanders, they were like, we couldn't really draw up a better start to this game. And then, Florio, to your point, I thought the difference was when you have a different guy. Not that Mariota played bad, and I'm one of those guys. I'm not as into, let's have this older veteran as the backup that, a lot of times it looks like when the older veteran gets out there, it's like, oh, man, I didn't expect to be out here right now. I'm older. I don't want to get hit. I kind of hate that look through the NFL, the Andy Dalton's going in, the Carson Wentz coming in. Not to say that these guys played horrible. I don't think it gives you an edge. You don't have that younger quarterback backup that's coming in, fired up, ready to go. You kind of get this lull in these guys that come in. But Mariota was ready to go. The game plan I thought was, right to what he does well because he does have a similar skill set to what Jayden Daniels has. But because they couldn't capitalize off of Deebo Samuel not catching that ball. But it's when you have Jayden Daniels, you just have this different effect that even if you don't call the greatest play, he can make something happen. And I think that's the hard thing when we talk about him of you have to kind of protect him and play this style, but it's also what makes him special and dynamic is the ability to turn some of these plays that we just look at and say, there's nothing really there. He kind of changes that and turns it into something in a smooth kind of way. It's not that chaos, the chaotic type of plays where it's like, oh man, he's trying to do too much. It's just very natural and smooth, and you don't want to take that away. But this Commanders team, they need him in a bad way. And I thought last night was an opportunity. Finally, you got Terry McLaurin back, you get Deebo Samuel back. It was like, here we go. And it's like, but we just don't have the quarterback yet. And I think for them, this season starts to turn and look into like, all right, now we just wait for Jayden to get back. And then we're just hoping somebody else doesn't get down. And then it feels like I've played in seasons like that where it feels like you're just chasing. It's like we never get right. We're just always chasing something. Somebody's out. We're trying to catch this kind of movement. We're trying to get into momentum this way or that way, and it never turns into the season you quite thought it would be. And that's what it feels like it's kind of taking shape in Washington.
3-5 now are the Commanders, and they host the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football, and it's not clear whether or not Jayden Daniels will be able to go. The Seahawks coming in rested. This is just another one of those little schedule quirks that I wish they would be sensitive to. You got Washington playing Monday night, and we talked last week about the Texans getting home at 5 in the morning and then having a game at 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. This time around, though, you give one team a short week, and the other team's had the bye week. So the Seahawks, extra time to rest, recover, and, yeah, they got to travel across the country, but they're getting a team that travels in from a Monday night game and is on a short week and fewer days to get everybody ready to go. But we will have had 2 full weeks for Jayden Daniels. We'll see if he's good to go when the Sunday night rolls around. And, hey, we got a good first half. I can't complain about the outcome, because if it had been 21-0 earlier, 14-0, and you just feel like the Commanders are trying in vain to make it interesting, it was interesting. And even after the first drive of the second half, when the Chiefs went up 14-7, it still stayed interesting for a while. It wasn't until like 12, 13 minutes left in the game that it was like, okay, this isn't going to work. But the Commanders, they hung in there. And there was that just strange back and forth interceptions and tip balls. And, hey, great play by Marshawn Lattimore. I want to say Marcus Lattimore. He's the guy that played for the 49ers years ago after that serious knee injury he suffered at South Carolina. But Marshawn Lattimore made that great catch with the interception on the sideline. And, yeah, it felt like the Commanders were there to win. And it was another one of those games with the Chiefs. It's like they're playing with their food. Right after they reestablished themselves with that splattering of the Raiders, and here we go, and the Chiefs, and look, even though it was sluggish at first, Patrick Mahomes is still, without question, all due respect to Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow when he's healthy, any of the other quarterbacks in the NFL, whatever Drake May is becoming, and it looks like it's something special.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.